It is a beautiful Saturday in Phoenix, going to be about 110 degrees today, but I've been on a couple errands. I took the GSR to Tucson today to pick up some tires and wheels for a friend who has a BMW. And now I'm going to pull the Legend sedan out of the garage because I need to pick up some interior conditioners. A friend of mine recommended some special products for leather conditioning. This car hasn't had any leather treatment for a while, so let's go grab some. This one's gonna have a milestone pretty soon. We're at 249,087. So sometime soon, we'll have a 250. I also wanted to mention that the wall art is now complete. I just recently added this picture, or drawing rather, of Integra sedan, thanks to my friend Darren from idrewyourcar.com. So all of the gallery has now been put together. Really happy with how that turned out. Thanks, Darren. All right, let's hit the road. One thing I wanted to mention while I'm sitting here at a stoplight is that I have a new shirt that I'm sporting. This is from a friend's collection called the Honda Vintage Collection. I'll post a link about this in the caption of the video, but it's going to be some great designs related to Honda Vintage Motorsports. T-shirts, hoodies, things of that nature. So check them out. This car is so much nicer to drive on the freeway than the Integra. We're talking like 2,000 RPM at freeway speed as opposed to over 4,000 in that little GSR. So definitely a stark contrast as far as long-term or long-distance friendliness. So this is the stuff I'm told to get. It's a good sign that it's next to Lexol, because I've heard of Lexol before, but $9.99 for 32 ounces. I think I'll grab one of these babies. Got my shopping done here at the Tractor Supply, so I'll show you guys what I picked up, and we'll see if it works. First of all, give me some air conditioning. So here's the shopping list. This is per my friend Jacob, who has the best looking leather seats I've ever witnessed. So this is specifically for saddles, but apparently oil may permanently darken light colored leathers. So the cashier did warn me about that. She said, in fact, you'll probably want to wear gloves because it'll stain your skin too. So let's hope for the best on that. Saddle soap is a pre-step to this stuff, so we'll do that first, and then of course I had to pick up a little brush. I'm gonna do a little bit of this action, and then I got some gloves just in case. These seats to begin with aren't in bad shape for their age, especially considering they're original, but they've also never really been conditioned, so I want to give this a chance to moisturize a little bit, especially living here in the desert. Even though the car's garaged, it is a very dry climate, and you can see some of the cracks are getting a little more severe, especially along the bottom. So the first step I'm going to do is a little bit of saddle soap and a brush, and we'll get started with that. This first exercise is really just to clear up some of the grime that's maybe built in here, and then we'll condition it with the other product after this. I'm actually quite surprised how much stuff I'm getting off of these. Look at that rag. So even if they look clean, what I'm seeing is that these seats actually have quite a bit of grime built into them. So good idea to get this cleaned up before we go ahead and do the next step. this looks pretty bad, but I've been told to go generous with this and kind of massage it into the seats. And then we're actually going to let the seats just kind of drink, if you want to call it that, and soak up. And you'll be surprised, I've seen a couple of friends do this, how much over the next couple hours this seat is going to soak up to re-moisturize. We're going to do the other side. So my driver's seat is drinking its oil right now. And meanwhile, I'm going to get started on the passenger side. Again, first step, we're just going to clean it up a bit. This car has 24 years worth of stuff in the seams, all this grit. So, soft brush. And then I'll wipe this off with a microfiber and we'll proceed to the next step. Here again is step 2. I've applied a generous little daub of the oil to the seat. Now we're just massaging it in. And then the next step, I'm doing this intentionally right now because I need to leave for a couple hours. So we're just going to let this soak in, and then we'll come back and see what it looks like after it's had a chance to do that. Probably have a chance to wipe off any excess at that time as well. It's looking pretty greasy, gotta admit, but I promise this is the process as it's been laid out. So, worst case scenario, I just destroyed my seats and I'll buy some new leather. Good excuse to do that. Taking a break from all my chores at the house to do a different kind of errand, I have to show you guys these amazing frosted pink sugar cookies from a place over here in Gilbert, Arizona called Swig and Sweets. Got the legend out for a quick jaunt around the block. Actually, it's gonna wind up being about 80 miles. 40 or so each way, but hold on a sec, let me show you these cookies. So the other specialty that Swig has is flavored sodas. So this is called a Big Al. It's a Diet Coke with some coconut and lime. They infuse all sorts of flavors into the sodas, and I swear they're like crack cocaine, super addicting. Not that I've ever tried crack, but check out these cookies. I'm just gonna give you a sneak peek, and they are super soft and delicious. And you'll just have to take my word for it because I can't feed them to you, but let's go ahead and roll back to Phoenix now. I couldn't wait any longer. I had to take a sip of this right now. So good. Highly recommended. Been gone for a couple hours and I just left the sunroof open to let this ventilate, but as you can see, it's patchy and there's almost not really going to be anything left to wipe off, so that tells me that the seats were dry enough that they're kind of hydrating. Maybe I'll even come back at it with a little bit more. The center console is definitely still looking kind of greasy, but we'll give it a little more time and see how it goes. I did a second application of the oil, so we'll see how it turns out. I'm gonna probably let it sit overnight until I go try and remove anything. The car doesn't need to go anywhere anyway, and it's pretty warm in this garage. I have the fans going and everything, but it's still been a 105, I think, plus degree day out there in Phoenix. So, probably doing this leather some favors right now. We'll see how it turns out. While we're at it, taking a break from our leather work, I was going to show you guys one of the other designs of t-shirts that I got, besides the one that I'm wearing. Again, this is a way to preserve and promote Honda racing heritage. So it's a line of apparel called Honda Vintage Culture. You can follow the page on Instagram. The delivery that came from Blip Shift included this cool sticker protected by Blip Shift, so those who are in the know will recognize that as a shift pattern. So as the saying goes, a manual transmission in this day and age is one of the world's best theft prevention devices. So pretty cool t-shirts. It's at vintagecollection.store, S-T-O-R-E. and excited to see some more clothes related to Honda and Acura heritage, as if any of us could ever have enough of that. I think we definitely need to add some more. It is my first milestone in the 92 Integra GS. Just about to roll 72,000 miles here on Camelback Road in Phoenix. There it is. Morning, it's day 2. So let's see how we did with this leather stuff. It's been sitting throughout the night in the garage, and I'll zoom in now to see. Looks like for the most part the oil has seeped in, so there's going to be a little bit left to wipe up, but not too bad. Let's get a closer look. This is 2 layers of the neat's foot oil, and definitely going to have to wipe some of that up, but look how much the lower piece soaked up, and I can tell it's a little more supple. Where I'm not too thrilled with this product is with what it did where the seat was already cracked prior. Look how bad. So it's basically stained the areas that had cracks through them, so they're a lot more visible now. This area used to be a lot lighter with that main crack, and especially that area there. So maybe there's a way I can go at it with some saddle soap and kind of reverse that process a little bit. If not, it's a lost cause, but something to keep in mind. It does make sense because the gal at the checkout counter at Tractor Supply said that you may want to wear gloves when applying it, because if you're putting it on something like raw leather, it will darken it. So I kind of knew what I was getting into there. Ultimately, I'm not too upset about it. The seats were never perfect to begin with, and this is better protection than it had before. So at least at this rate, I can keep cracks like the ones that are on the driver's seat from happening on the passenger seat if I continue to apply this stuff. So there you go.